What's up, everybody? I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser. I was wrong. About who? Chuck Schumer. Yeah. Chuck Schumer did the right thing by voting yes. I know y'all pissed. Chill out. Listen to me. Don't scroll too quick. Give me a little bit of time here to explain what the hell I'm talking about. I got 2 articles coming out on Substack, MrStraightFacts.substack.com. One is warning, Trump is using Hitler's playbook to seize power. The other one is, within the article of the warning article, is a link or a conversation about the Reichstag Fire of 1933. I go into detail about what that is and how that set up Hitler to become as powerful as he was. I didn't get a chance to read the article from Senator Schumer, but I'm sure it had something to do with anti-Semitism. And he was dealing with the history of Hitler. And so am I now. I'm on the right plane now. And my brothers and sisters, we're on the wrong plane. This man is literally trying to save this country. And if we had voted the other way, we would have put it in turmoil quick. See, let me explain the history of it all so you can understand. I told you about the Reichstag Fire of 1933. See, that fire was pretty much a fire of their Congress, the House and Senate, everywhere where they had their documents for government stuff, right? And that fire was set by somebody. Everybody believes it's Hitler and his people long after it's over. But see, that burn down became a disaster in which Hitler put himself in to be the savior of said disaster. He went to the president at the time, which he was the chancellor, and he got the president to get rid of civil liberties, which means they got rid of, for us, First Amendment rights, all these different things because they were going in turmoil, and he had the solution. The president did just that. And as soon as they did that, they started arresting, let's say for our instance of America, the Republicans, they would start arresting the opposite party, the Democrats. Not only arresting them, unaliving some of them, in the process of saying to the rest of Americans that they're the ones who are causing your problems. And that's what Donald Trump is good at, telling us that Democrats are the cause of their problems while he creates the problems and swoops in and acts like he's the savior to said problem. You've seen this over the past 10 years. This man starts chaos and then fixes it and says, hey, I fixed it. When you start to see the strategy in which Donald Trump plays, he literally plays like the world is falling apart and I'm the only one who can save you. I'm the only one who can fix it. That's exactly, not even a little bit different. I mean, to a T, 100% Hitler. Yeah. You got all these people, these pundits that don't want to bring up his name because he unalived so many people. He did what he did to the Jewish people. But I want you to understand something. Donald Trump is not at that phase to do what he wants to do to immigrants and Jewish people and other people outside of white men. He's not at that phase to be able to do that yet. Neither was Hitler at this phase. Hitler was at the exact same phase that Donald Trump is, taking over power. And how can you do that? He has to create a disaster in order to save us from. Why do you think this man is literally throwing all these tariffs up to 200%? He's talking about 250 or whatever. He's talking about destroying our economy so that he can swoop in and save it. There was nothing wrong with our economy when he came in. He's been on a mission to destroy it. And all these millionaires and billionaires that are around him, they already know the game plan. If you look at the video, it's an undercover video of Russ Vogt. Russ was telling people who we thought was billionaires what he was going to do with Project 2025, and that Project 2025 was basically the skeleton that they showed the world. The actual meat and bones to everything, the muscle to it all, was behind the scenes, and nobody would see that. He was promising these rich people months earlier what was going to happen and how Donald Trump was incorporated into this, being basically the mastermind that orchestrated this all to happen with the Heritage Foundation and Russ Vogt.
Journalists from the Center for Climate Reporting have come posing as potential donors, looking to meet those involved in Project 2025. They're not hard to find. The Heritage Foundation, the group running the project, are here. So is Vogt's think tank. We make the acquaintance of Mika Meadowcroft, an author on Project 2025 and a close aide to Vogt. He tells us that Vogt is running the secretive second phase of Project 2025.
The second phase after the book came out was to break down like actual sort of policy packets and like, executive orders and agenda items and things like that. That's been supervised largely.
The first phase of Project 2025 was a 922-page policy book published openly. The second phase is a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. These much more detailed plans are confidential.
Yeah, because obviously you wanted a little of it to be FOIA-able, if you're familiar with the FOIA process, as possible.
Freedom of Information Act, yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act allows the public to request government communications, but Meadowcroft reveals they plan to avoid these rules.
Yeah, the goal is, you familiarize all the transition team people with these plans, but you don't actually send them to their work emails, because then, you could just give the handbooks to everyone, be like, this is the game plan for the admin.
Yeah.
But if the press knows that that's what you're doing, that they're going to immediately just say, I request all of your emails from Heritage.
Okay.
You
right.
worker.
I see.
So we'll see.
Interesting.
Meadowcroft offers to set up a meeting with his boss, Russ Vogt.
You could put me in touch with somebody who looks after his diary or whatever.
Yes, I can put you in touch with his scheduler. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Great.
So just tell me when to do that.
We want to meet the man writing the game plan for Trump's second administration. Vogt believes that in his first term, Trump's agenda was frustrated by what he calls the deep state. So Vogt is planning a radical centralization of government power under the president, firing civil servants and ending the independence of agencies like the FBI and DOJ.
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.
So, what are they trying to do? I do not believe that Elon Musk and his computer geniuses are in there to do anything with our government, to cut money or nothing of that nature. They get it wrong most of the time. Why? Because it's not their focus. Their focus is to destroy the government, to put so much into turmoil that you need their help to fix it. There's nothing wrong with it. We can just cut some here and cut some there and we'll be fine. But no, they're going in, destroying documents, firing people that we need. If you really wanted to fix something, you go in and you do it right. They're going in willy-nilly and destroying shit on purpose. They're getting rid of documents, shredding them. Why do you think they're doing this? While you're worried about what he's doing to these immigrants and he's talking all this crazy stuff on Truth Social about what Biden couldn't do and what he can do and all shit like that, and that's in the news, they're behind the scenes destroying our democracy, destroying our Constitution, not paying attention to lawyers, the rule of law, all of that, in hopes to be able to be in control and make Donald Trump king or dictator of the year, while these rich oligarchs are literally waiting to get their billions out of Donald Trump. He's going to own our country. That's what he wants to do. Why do I say these things? Pay attention to Hitler. I know you guys want to freak out when you hear that word. I don't give a damn. Go study Hitler and you'll see that Donald Trump is following this man's tip 100%. He ain't off a little bit. Everything from calling the media, fake media, calling other politicians the enemy of the state, all that. Every last thing that Donald Trump has done is 100% Hitler. And then Chuck Schumer.
Here's what would happen if we cut off government spending. It would be devastation like we have never seen.
Worse than we're seeing now?
Much. Here's why. That's why I did it. I wasn't going to take this flack just for having a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is a government shutdown works like this. All government spending is stopped. All. And then the executive branch, Trump, Musk, Doge, and this really evil man people don't know about, Vogt, who's head of OMB. His name is Vogt.
What's OMB? What does OMB mean?
OMB is the Office of Management Budget, which determines the spending. And they could cut off anything they want simply by saying it's not essential. So, day two, SNAP, food for poor kids, not essential. Day 4, mass transit, New York City subway and subways all over, not essential. Day 7, Medicaid, not essential. People don't need Medicaid. They should get their own health care. And this would happen over and over and over again. And there's no check. The biggest problem is that it has been determined that the courts have no say. Yeah. And the only say is the executive branch. Now, in the old days, when there was a shutdown, they'd work it out. But this is a different, horrible kettle of fish. Mm-hmm. They hate the government. They want to shut down everything. You heard what Musk said, $2 trillion. And so this would have been so devastating. And here's the second part that's maybe just as bad. There's no exit strategy. How do you get out of a shutdown? Guess who determines it? Trump, Musk, Doge. They're the only ones. And one of the Republican senators told one of the Democratic senators, you get in this, we're staying in for 6 months, 9 months, a year till we decimate the entire federal government.
And the rest of those 9, they went against what Democrats wanted. But Democrats aren't treating this like it actually is. For some reason, the Democrats don't know the history. Neither did I fully. And I thank Senator Schumer for literally bringing it to light. He didn't mention it to the American people. He wrote an op-ed, which most people can't even access unless you buy New York Times or some shit. And nobody's really reading that. So he didn't put it in a place where everybody could reach it. So it's not covered on every station, which it should. We should be up in arms. There should be alarms going off. Democrats should be working to destroy this. But instead, they're not out saying anything about it. They're mad at Chuck Schumer because they think that they could have fixed it. Here's exactly what Donald Trump would have done and the Republicans if we had went along with saying no and not having anybody there. They would stop the government. Now, if the government starts to fall apart, nobody's getting paid in the government, that trickles down to you and me. And what happens? They're going to blame the Democrats for it happening. They have their scapegoat. They would bring about bills that they know Democrats would not say yes to, make them worse and worse and worse, that Democrats would keep saying no to. Every time they say no, they make the bill worse. And as it goes down the line, when we are all like poverty stricken, we're going through a recession, almost a depression, then the Democrats say yes. They're saying yes to the absolute worst bill, just so they can save people's lives. And then Donald Trump swoops in and says, I can save you, but I have to have full power. That's what Hitler did. That's what Trump and his minions are doing. That's what Project 2025 is about. The second version, the one we didn't get to see. How do I know this? Because the one that we did get to see was already Hitler-esque. The other one is all about how to destroy everything to put them in power. They couldn't show us that. So I wanted you guys to know, Chuck Schumer saved us. Donald Trump is trying to destroy us. And I don't know what we can do about it. It's more dire than you think. And all I ask, read my articles, do your own research, and you will see that Donald Trump is evil. And the Republican Party is just as bad. They have to know this is what he's doing. Because behind the scenes, he's doing all this shit. And Democrats, you guys need to be forming committees to be watching everything he's doing. You need to be following, if not get a private investigator on Russ, vote. We need to know what he's doing at all times. Tail him. Tap his phone if you have to. The reality is, these people are trying to destroy our country. And if we don't fight for it, we're going to lose it. Black people, I understand how hurt we are. I am hurt. But after learning that Chuck Schumer was right, I got to fight. Whatever that means, I've got to fight. We've got to fight. Now, in my article, I got things we can do. I think it's 6 steps to do. We got to do them. And we got to come together. I understand all of these assholes who didn't vote for Kamala that put us in this situation. They need us because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And the country will fall to shit. And we will be the ones deeply buried in that shit. Because if democracy goes and he becomes a king, you guys are enslaved again. Or you're going to leave the country. And of course, most of us are going to leave the country or die trying. But I'm not being an alarmist. I am literally following the facts. Everything Donald Trump is doing is Hitler-esque. pitting people against each other. People of color, black people, women, all kinds of different things, gang members and immigrants and all that. It's all divisive. The only way we defeat this is we swallow our pride and work with these people. Because the opposite way is a fast way to destruction. And they have calculated, they are counting on us not to work together because that's how they win. It's not about these people who voted for Trump. He don't give a fuck about them. They're not the rich. They're just pawns to get him what he wants. And if we don't fight back alongside these idiots, we all gonna lose. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm begging you to fight. Begging. And Democrat leaders, you guys need to get on the same plane as Senator Schumer. He is not fooling around. He literally knows what he's talking about. And I, for one, was wrong. And I have no problems, no ego whatsoever to admit it. I do not want my country to fall apart and everything we fought for to die. I fight for my people and I fight for the American life and for us to be able to obtain the American dream. It is gone if this man gets what he wants. And it's not too late now, but it will be. And Democrats, the leadership, get your head on right. These lawsuits is one thing, but you need to be on the ass of Russ Vogt and all the rest of those people. Don't give them their freedoms. They're trying to take yours. Tail them. Investigate them. Their plan is to destroy democracy 100% and gain power. Don't believe me? Read these articles and then go see how Donald Trump and Hitler match blow for blow on taking over a country. Blow for blow. He ain't leaving nothing out. And it's eerie how he's doing it when we've already seen it before. We've already seen it. If you don't know your history, you will repeat it. I just told you the history. Now you know. You do nothing about it, we're going back to it. Simple as that. Educate yourself. Get prepared because we're in a fight for democracy. You think I'm fucking around? I'm not. I did my homework and I was wrong, but now I'm right.